Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of WTWO's Beyond the Stands. Of course, I'm your host, Rick Semmler. Remember, you can always follow this on mywabashvalley.com, the homepage of WTWO. You can also find it on different avenues now. I've been mentioning this for several weeks, but we're on Spotify, CastBox, Pocket Cast, and iHeartRadio. Happy to have a guy who's been on my podcast more than anybody. I'm talking about Indiana State men's basketball head coach Matthew Graves. Coach, it's been about a month since I've seen you.
Yeah, no, it's been good. It's one of those deals where you look at the calendar and it's sectional week, so good luck to all the area coaches. And I guess the one thing, and you'll understand this, some of your listeners may not, but I'm surprised it's not snowing. Doesn't it always snow during sectional week?
There's a chance of snow tomorrow. Honestly.
There we go. You can almost count on it. The weather's nice, but sectional week in Indiana, there's always a chance that it's going to snow. It's like clockwork.
I'm no Jesse Walker here, but listen, it's warm today. It's supposed to be severe storms tonight and a chance of snow tomorrow. That sums up Indiana high school boys basketball sectional week every year. You speak of sectionals. Obviously WRV had some amazing runs back during the Graves time. Any special memories that flow to you when you mention this time of year?
Well, you do. You think about just that togetherness and the community spirit, and I know a big story around here, Clay City. That's so cool that and they were in the sectional back when I played, but to have a team from this area that's got a chance to go and win the state championships, that's really cool. And then just rewind, I know it's a little further away, but the South Knox girls,
yes,
that's really cool story when you get a small town school like that in the community. That's the thing that you remember more than anything, the caravans of people, and when you look in the stands and maybe you're playing back when I was playing, there was no class basketball, but you still had the bigger crowds, and that was the really cool part. It is truly a community event in a lot of these local towns.
I could have him on all day to talk high school basketball. We both played it. We love it. But have him here to talk Sycamore basketball, and big win Sunday to wrap up the regular season, 95-77 over Southern Illinois. I guess, first of all, you had struggled a little bit. How bad did you guys need that win to wrap up the regular season?
Well, I think it was really crucial to provide us some confidence going into the Arch Madness. The 3 games before, the home game with Evansville, who's playing really well. Coach Ragland's doing a good job with those guys, and I think they're peaking at a really good time, and they could make a run. Then you go to Belmont and to Murray State, which are 2 tough places to go and play, and we didn't play bad basketball. We had stretches where we let some possessions get away from us, but overall we didn't play bad. But the problem is you don't stamp it with a win, and you can go through stretches, and it's possible to play good basketball and not come out with a win. And I felt like those few games we did that, and to come in Sunday, for a lot of reasons. It's senior day. It's the last time we're going to be in front of our fans in the Holman Center, although, we travel well to St. Louis, which is great. But to kind of stamp that win in the Holman Center for our seniors and play really well, it gives us a lot of confidence, for our game on Thursday.
I want to ask you, I remember having you back September, right before the first practice, and you said, work in progress. I want to be playing our best basketball when we leave for Arch Madness. Well, you board the bus today to leave for Arch Madness. Do you feel you're playing your best basketball and your team is ready for Arch Madness?
I absolutely do. It's really worked out. Obviously that we had a stretch there in January that, things were a little bleak. You lose 6 in a row. But during that time, and I felt like, coming out of that, we were going to be okay because what people couldn't see was how hard our guys were still practicing. And that really spoke to the character of our team. And, it was deflating. You were losing, but the locker room was still good. The practices were still good. Guys were still coming in to get individual work in. So we kind of made our way through that rough patch, and we grew together, and that was really exciting. So as you get on the bus, and again, you've heard me say it from day one, that was our goal. we wanted to feel like we had a team competitive enough to go there, cut down the nets on Sunday, and I believe we do. And I absolutely love the draw that we got. Obviously, you'd have loved to have been playing on Friday, which would have meant you get the 4 seed at least. But being in that 8-9 game against Southern Illinois, that's a good matchup for us. And I'm sure we'll talk about that here in a minute more. But then you get an opportunity to play Drake, and Drake's outstanding. But I do like that matchup. We played well in Des Moines, losing in overtime, and you just flip it and you look at the other side of the bracket. You would have had to go through potentially maybe a Murray State in the first round. Then you might have to play Bradley. Then you would have to play Northern Iowa. Then you could have had to play Drake. So to be on the side that we are, not that it's easy, but I think it's a better path for the way our personnel sets up.
And I got to ask, first of all, it's Indiana State, the 9 seed in Arch Madness MVC tourney, and they take on 8 seed Southern Illinois, 1 p.m. game Thursday afternoon, so a good reason to work a half day and go home and watch the Sycamores play. Interesting, you just played Southern Illinois on Sunday. You're going to turn around and play them 4 days later. Obviously, at this point of the season, everybody knows everybody in the conference, but I'm sure you've been in this situation before where you play a team back-to-back times. As a coach, player, do you like that kind of situation, or would you prefer not to play a team like that in a short period of time?
I don't really think it matters either way. It's obviously a unique situation. It actually happened the first year I was here with Coach Schertz. We played at Illinois State to finish the regular season and got drummed up there. It was I think it was a 20 to 25 point loss. We did not play very well. Looked very disinterested, kind of like the Southern Illinois team we played on Sunday. And then we came to Arch Madness, and it was a 1 possession game with 2 minutes to go. So that's the game I'm anticipating that we're going to have on Thursday. I've been in Southern Illinois' shoes before on that last game, and it was really hard that year one here to get our team up and ready to play, and we just didn't have it. And it was Illinois State's senior day, and so they played really well. But we turned around, played well, didn't get the win in Arch Madness, but it was a very, very competitive game. And that's one of the things playing a team in such short turnaround. You know them well, you can make a few tweaks, and then really it's about who's going to play well and compete for those 40 minutes.
I want to thank our sponsors of the show, Crow Equipment Incorporated and Andrews Heating and Air Conditioning Year 2018, American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning Building, a higher standard award winner for quality and reliability you can depend on. Call Andrews Heating and Air Conditioning, 765-832-9401. Obviously, let's talk about the matchup with Southern Illinois. It's easy to say, well, just play how you did Sunday, and you're going to win again. But you said you got to make a few tweaks. What do you guys got to do to beat them again? Because they're going to want to make up for Sunday and come at you guys.
Yeah, there's no question. I'm anticipating a completely different team, and then you have other factors. You're on a neutral site. You're in a one-and-done situation in the conference tournament. We have guys that have never really experienced this type of environment. I was asked the other day about Samaj Teal. Well, he doesn't know what Arch Madness is like, where he played in the Big South at Presbyterian. And I don't know this for a fact, but I'm going to guess that the games he played in his conference tournament, nowhere near the attendance and things like that. And again, that's no offense to the Big South.
It's a fact.
But it is what it is. And so I think there's going to be some nervousness. There's going to be some anxiousness. And I think a key to this game is really going to be in the first 8 minutes of the ball game, through the first 2 media timeouts. Which team gets settled, which team gets the nerves knocked out, because we know Southern Illinois is going to come at us in those first 2 medias, and I think we've got to be ready. We got to be great in our transition defense. In the second half, Southern Illinois actually outscored us on Sunday. We just played really, really well in that first half, and we got to do a better job rebounding the basketball, and then we got to cut down our turnovers again. We've been fine. We've done a great job in that, but we can't allow them to get out in transition because of our turnovers. So those two things really go hand in hand.
Now, history's not on your side. No team ever has won 4 games in 4 days at Arch Madness. Is that something you talk with your team about? You have a chance to make history? I mean, what the odds are stacked against you, but you don't that doesn't discourage you. You know you guys can go over there and do that though.
No, that speech is saved for Sunday.
There you go.
Because we can't have that speech until you win 3 games before that. So that's certainly in the back pocket. I think I read the other day that the 5 or 6 seed's been the highest seed to ever win in Arch Madness. So several things going for us in that direction. 4 games in 4 days. Being outside of that top 5 seed to win it. So all those things will come into play on Sunday. So our focus is on Southern Illinois and what we need to do to win that basketball game. And again, it's about going over there, playing together, playing with confidence, and coming off that win, it was really big for us.
So I got to ask, we're in the postseason now, but the regular season wrapped up. What grade would you give your ball club this season?
Well, it's hard to put a grade on it because you're going to have everybody on both sides of it. If you say you give us a B, then people are like, well, you were below 500. And then if you say, we're a D, then, it's like, what'd you guys do? Mm-hmm. And so honestly, I'm straightforward, very, very to the point, I would give us a B minus C plus. Okay. I think we did some really good things. We were slightly better than average, even though our record doesn't indicate that. We put ourselves in a position in a lot of games to win. And, one thing I'd like to do after the season, I want to go back through and see what our record was in games decided by 2 possessions or less with under 4 minutes to go, and that number is going to be high. I think we played in 11 or 12, 13 of those type games, and I think as I get better as a coach and continue to grow, I'll be able to help my team even more. And I think as we get that corporate knowledge and get some more continuity, I think we'll execute better in those late game situations as well. And our team's gotten better throughout the year in those areas also.
You lead into my next question, so I ask you to grade the team. You're back coaching on the sidelines again. What would the grade be for yourself as you? It's not your first year coaching, but your first year here being a head coach again. How do you feel you handled year number 1?
I think overall it was good. I would, obviously I've got room to continue to grow and improve. But, again, overall I think it's really similar to, what we did as a team. I'd give myself a, C plus, B minus, moving in a positive direction. Still a lot of areas to grow and develop, but at the same time, happy where we are. I feel good about our roster, where it's at. Obviously we got to make some changes, adjustments, get in the portal, continue to develop guys we have in our program. But I really believe the future's bright for Indiana State basketball. I do.
You mentioned it, so I need to ask about the portal. It's an interesting time. When the season does end for you, explain to the casual fan understanding, how does the portal work the next few months? When's it open? When's it close? And when can you get guys?
Yeah, so we're in a unique situation. Obviously, the Missouri Valley tournament is early compared to a lot of tournaments. And we actually are on spring break next week at the university. So regardless of what happens this weekend, even if we win on Sunday, we're going to give our guys, 3-4 days to get away and just decompress a little bit. And that's a good time for us coaches to kind of really sit down and think about, okay, what do we really truly want to do with our roster? And we've been having meetings, over the past month about our roster construction and things like that. But then we'll sit down and have postseason meetings with our players. And some guys are going to want to, transfer to other places. You may get a surprise. Somebody comes in and all of a sudden, they get an NIL deal, and you got to make adjustments. You just never know. You got to, if you're not planning for that, you're very naive. So then once we kind of have our exit meetings with our players, we'll assess what our needs are. The transfer portal officially opens on the 24th. Which is after the Sweet
March
16.
24th.
Yep, March 24th, okay. And it's open for basically 30 days. That's when kids can put their names in there. Now, we could still be recruiting out of the portal all the way till August, but kids have until then to put their name in there, and then we'll kind of dig through there, and we got an idea of what we're looking for. We just got to go and find it.
Awesome. Busy time, not just coaching. You'll be winning kids over. I want to ask one player that has been playing phenomenal for you is Aaron Gray. I know he came in, very talented player. It took a while for him to adjust, but I believe 9 out of his last 12 games he's been in double figures, couple back-to-back double-doubles for him. Monster game on Sunday. Just talk about Aaron's progression and where he's playing at right now for you.
Yeah, I'm so happy for Aaron. You know, he's had a 2-year journey, and he's really peaking at the right time, and that's a great thing for us. And what he allows us to do is play bigger. You know, when he was injured and not playing as well, we would play Kamani Dottie at the 4 spot essentially, and we were 3 guards and Kamani, so we're small. With Aaron playing as well as he has, we can move Kamani more out to the wing position. We're bigger, we're more versatile defensively, and that creates a higher ceiling for us defensively especially. And then offensively, Aaron is our best cutter on the floor. He does a great job. He's been in the system for 2 years. He understands cutting and when to cut and how to cut, and he was big for us on Sunday. And we're going to need him to play well when we head over to Arch Madness if we want to play until Sunday for sure.
I know fans will be tuned in. Wednesday night is the MVC Awards Banquet. Last year, I'll never forget, the Sycamores swept everything. It was crazy. What a fun night that was. But can you give fans a little bit? How do you feel like Samaj? Where do you think he's going to get? Where do you think any Sycamores might get honored tomorrow night?
Yeah, absolutely. So going through the awards, I feel like Samaj. I think, and again, I'm standing on. I think he's a first-team All-League guard. You know, in the MVC. They picked the Larry Bird Player of the Year, which is going to be Bennett Sturts from Drake. That's good. If anybody picks anybody else, I'm not sure what they watched all season, but he's an outstanding player, and it's well deserving. They picked. You got him plus 5 others that are on the first team, and I'm a firm believer that. Samaj Teal should be on that list. I think he's going to be right around, if you were ranking him in order, he's going to fall on most people's ballots probably between 4th and 8th. So if he's not on that first team, he's probably the first pick on the second team. But I'm optimistic that he's going to get on that first team. And then Jaden Daughtry will. Him or the Banks kid from Drake, those are the 2 guys that will be in the running for 6th man of the year. And obviously, I think JD's stats speak for itself. He's averaging 14 points a game. He's in the top in field goal percentage in the league, and I think those stats should carry a lot of weight. And I'm optimistic that he will be 6th man of the year. But I think it's going to be him or the Banks kid from Drake. And then outside of that, we had some guys that played well this year, but they're not going to be in any contention for any league awards.
That's what I like about you. You tell the honest, but we'll find out if you're right, because last time I had you on, you said the Chiefs would win the Super Bowl, and that pick didn't go too well, did it?
But I think you had the Chiefs too.
You're right. So you're right. You're calling it back on me. Before I let you go, I love the stat I saw. You were talking about going to Arch Madness and the crowds and this and that. ISU finished in the top 5 in attendance this season, and I think it says more than any other year. You're coming off one of the best seasons in school history. The town loved that team, and they come back and show love to this team, and for good reason. You guys played hard. You didn't have all the wins that you wanted, but they still came out and supported you. What did it mean to see the crowds that you had every night and to finish in the top 5 in attendance this year?
So appreciative and thankful. I mean, you had, the fans, the Wabash Valley, they've wrapped our arms around, this is their team. And even though we didn't have all the success that we wanted to at home, and that's one thing, we got to be better next year. We got to continue to win more games at home. But, the effort, of our administration, to be out actively, getting people to come to the games, and our fans showing up, and the way they cheer. And, one of my favorite pictures, was at the game on Sunday. We had 4 or 5 players in the corner with probably 60 kids around them. And what a cool picture. We want this to be a family environment. We want, fans to, bring their kids and line them up on the court so they can get to know our players and meet our players, and just to see. And that's one thing that's so special about being the head coach here. You have an onus to, put out a product that people want to come and see. They want to cheer. And, even though we didn't win, we have great guys, and they really care about being here and being part of the community, and it's reciprocated. And I'm so thankful to be in this seat, and really looking forward to seeing all of our fans over in St. Louis. But then again, next year back at the Holman Center, and we're going to start this thing up again.
Coach, you've been on more than anybody on the podcast. No matter what, when the season ends, I still plan to have you on in the off season, because as we know, in college basketball, a lot happens in the off season. Appreciate having you on, and best of luck at Arch Madness.
Thank you, Rick.
That is Sycamore head coach Matthew Graves. As the Sycamores take on Southern Illinois 1 p.m. Thursday afternoon in the opening game of this year's Arch Madness. ISU has to win Arch Madness if they want to play in the NCAA tournament. That does it for this edition of Beyond the Stands. I'm Rick Semmler.